Hello, 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 everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. I am LJ Thomas, and you know me from the Purely Positive Show. But this is South Carolina Gets Lit. Today, we're going to be exposing authors as we're building readers. And today's guest has I'm going to let you tell her. I'm going to let her tell you what kind of book it is. But we're talking with Crystal Ann Mitchell, and we are going to discuss her book, The Beginning of Her Story. I got it right. Did I get it right? I got
You did. You got it right.
it right. Yay.
And, and thank you for having me. I greatly appreciate this opportunity.
You are very welcome. You are very welcome. So now, I mentioned I'm going to let you tell us what kind of book it is. So go ahead with your explanation about what kind of book it is.
Well, my book is inspirational, which I call it a painful inspirational story.
A painful inspirational story. Why the word painful?
I use painful because when I tend to tell people inspirational, they tend to think that it's very churchy, and it's like not all holy than thou. You got your drama, you got your sex, you got everyday living that people go through in this book. So that's why I call it a painful inspirational.
You have all of that in this book. Is this a fiction book or based on a true story?
It's based on a true story, based on true events. I just made up the psychology, but everything
Okay.
from him is like truthful things.
Okay. All right. And you got all of that in there? Huh. Well, well, that's exciting. I'm just saying. That's exciting. So definitely it's not churchy. Okay. Moving on. What is your book? Give me a general synopsis. If you had to explain what the book is about, give me a general synopsis of what the book is about.
This book is just basically all the ingredients of what I've went through in life. Letting people know that no matter how hard life is, to always have faith in God. And whatever happens in life, all those bad things tend to be all the ingredients of what you needed for you to become who you are to become. So there is purpose in that pain.
Okay, I like that. Purpose in the pain. Oh, nicely done. Now I'm nosy. Who's that on your shirt?
This is my brother, Larice Mitchell,
Okay.
which I've dedicated my book to him. So this is the first time that I've actually worn the shirt that's showing his
Oh,
face. Yes.
why did you dedicate the book to him?
Well, because I had dreamed his death years before it happened.
Oh,
And yeah, so after a year of him dying, it was on my heart very heavily to write. And I asked God to give me a sign because I kept thinking it was my own self, to my own self, and God gave me my sign. So that's how and why I became an author. So I wanted to dedicate this book to him.
okay. That's very nice. That is very nice. So, you got this painful inspiration dedicated to your brother, and that's very nice that you're dedicating it to your brother. And I'm nosy. What kind of pain is in this book?
Well, you have your my pain is well, you will read about betrayal, uh,
Oh,
heartbreak, a little bit of a two piece here and there.
okay.
Yeah, but just everything that I thought that was to break me ended up being all the things that helped make me.
Oh, that's a nice way of putting it. Everything that I thought was there to break me ended up helping to make me. Okay, all right. So now you are gonna read from the book later, right? You are gonna read, right? Say yes.
Yes, yes.
Thank you. Okay, so what I really want to do is I want us to take a break to get a word from our sponsors. Woohoo, sponsors. And then when we come back, I would like for you to read from your book if that's okay. Is that cool?
Yes.
Okay, we'll be right back.
Little Jazzy's, located at 163 North Dargan Street, downtown Florence, South Carolina, is the place to get great food with a hometown feel devoted to family and faith. Named after their children, Lily, Jasmine, and Zion, owners Andrina and her husband David Mullins opened the business at a local airport in 2017 and moved to their current location in 2020. And things have been jumping ever since. For hot filling breakfast, Lil Jazzy's is the place to go. In a hurry? Call ahead to Lil Jazzy's to pick up your order or have it delivered Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Lil Jazzy's is an award-winning member of the downtown Florence community. The family atmosphere provides a great experience, plus they cater and rent the location for occasions and special events. Contact Lil Jazzy's phone or email. The food is so good, they put their kids' names on it. Lily, Jasmine, and Zion.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Thank you so much for coming back and being with us here on South Carolina Gets Lit. We are talking today to Crystal Ann Mitchell. We're talking about her book, The Beginning of Her Story. Now, before we left to go for a commercial break, we talked about her reading an excerpt from her book. And now I'm excited because now she gets to read. Woo! So please read from your book.
Okay. The beginning of her story. Chapter 1. I usually find myself gazing back into the past. I sometimes wish I could start over from a specific date and time. Tears fell down my cheeks and I covered my face with my hands so he couldn't see. I could feel my face was hot. I was shaking and I bust out crying. The room was scary silent, so all I could hear was my cry. Minutes had passed when I felt a headache coming on. I wiped my eyes with the back of my hands, only to find him with his legs crossed, staring straight into my soul. Miss Guy, do you think you can continue, or would you like to stop here and next week continue? Or, no, I'm fine, I replied, cutting him off. He moved his hand out, motioning me to continue on. I glanced at the clock and realized we were only 15 minutes into my first session. My body temperature had returned back to normal, and I was no longer shaking. I leaned my head back on the cozy brown love seat and closed my eyes. I inhaled and then exhaled, thinking to myself, Megan, people have betrayed you, but he's not them. Go ahead and tell him. You will probably feel a whole lot better. I opened my eyes, raised my head up, and took another glance at him. He nodded to confirm he was ready whenever I was. I inhaled and exhaled again, thinking to myself, here it goes.
Wait, that's the end of chapter 1?
Yes.
Stop now. You can't do that. Okay. Can you read another more, please?
Okay. About 6 years ago, I was working at this nursing home as a nurse aide. I had been a nurse aide for about 6 years by this time, and that's when I met him. He didn't look friendly at all, and to be honest, not even my type. I giggled and glanced at my psychologist, and he nodded for me to continue with a straight face. I was being trained by a girl, and he was working on the same hall as us. And I can't really remember if my trainer left to go on a doctor's appointment or if she was full because this nursing home was always short-handed. But whatever it was caused me to take on the group by myself. It was like my second day there, and basically I was thrown to the wolves. And that's when he had to come to me and walk me through each resident that I was going to have. You never told me his name, this guy, Dr. Martin said. My throat was dry, so I reached for my bottled water that was on the glass table in front of me. Dr. Martin looked at me, waiting for my response. I took a deep breath and lowered my head down and answered, David, in a low voice. Okay, continue, Dr. Martin said while reaching for a pen and notepad on the small glass table beside his brown chair. Well, I paused. David showed me the group and actually explained in great detail about each resident I was going to be taking care of. He was actually friendly, and my first impression of him was wrong. I leaned my head back on the brown love seat and stared at the ceiling, as if a film projector was replaying my life and I was watching so I could retell it. He actually was so kind that we became good friends. Good friends like how, Miss Guy? Dr. Martin asked with a smile on his face. This was the first time this man had smiled since I've been here. Well, we would go out to eat on Fridays. He was much older than me, so the things he would do would make me feel special. It's kind of hard to explain, but I was in a relationship with a guy at this time. My mate and I were together for about 8 years, and he never wanted to do anything special or go out. So when I met David, he did things I wish my lover would have done, I explained. Dr. Martin seemed to be getting interested in my story now. He uncrossed his legs, folded his arms, and with a smile to melt your heart, continue. David became my best friend, and I'm not going to lie. Dr. Martin was shaking his head to assure me it was okay for me to tell him what he already knew I was going to say. I glanced at the clock on the wall and noticed my time was up. Dr. Martin, look at the time, I said. He looked at the time and was shocked by how time had snuck by. Oh, okay, Miss Guy. So when will our next session be next week? How about we make it same day, same time? I replied. He went to his computer desk in the corner of the room. Next Tuesday at 4 o'clock sounds okay with me. I grabbed my brown Coach purse along with my bottled water and headed for the door. As I turned the doorknob, Dr. Martin called my name and I turned. You had sex with him. I looked at him. You had sex with David while in a relationship with another man, he asked. Yes, I did, Dr. Martin, I said, and quickly exited out his office, wondering why was I even talking to him about my problems anyways.
You need to stop. Okay. She said painful inspiration. That's what she said. I don't see where no pain is. Just saying. I'm just saying. You're a good writer. It's very descriptive. You're a good writer. Very good writer. You are very welcome.
I appreciate that.
No problem. What made you write this kind of story? What made you choose to write this and not something else?
Well, when I had asked God to give me the sign and he gave me the sign, I knew that it was my story. for me to my suffering is to help someone else out. And I, as much as I didn't want to go in depth, until it wasn't until I started writing that I knew that I had to. But through this, I was also healing myself, so it was very therapeutic to myself, you know. Yeah, so it was for me to accept the things that it had happened and to help someone else out.
Okay. Admirable. Very admirable. I'm glad that you were able to find therapy in the release of your writing. And I like the way that you are using that in the story, actually, with a therapist. So that's good correlation. I appreciate that marriage of scenarios, I guess is what you call it. So if you, well, let me ask you, your publisher, was this someone that you had been working with previously, or someone, a new publishing company? Just tell me what happened. I'm so nosy. Just tell me.
Well, I had wrote the book in 7 months. So, but I had cut the book off because I wanted the second part of my book. I wanted to self-publish, and I felt like I couldn't grab the audience that I needed. So felt that I needed, a publisher. So I sent it off to 5 publishers, and they messaged me like a day or two later and said that they would love to bring my story to print. And
Oh.
so they ended up, yeah. But I ran from them for a while because I was ready for rejection. You think about all these successful authors. One of my favorites, Stephen King, and you just look at these successful authors and they talked about them rejecting. They've been rejected so many times, so I was really ready for rejection. Although at the time I was like, oh, I don't want to be rejected. But then when I wasn't rejected, I was like, I want to be rejected so I can keep my story here. But while they was working on that, I ended up working on my second book. So yeah, me and my publishers went back and forth for like 2 years. So within that time, I had written my second book, but I'm going to
Okay.
self-publish that. That's the plan.
Okay, that's the plan. So that's something that I can look forward to. Now, you're right. This book is under your name, Crystal Ann Mitchell. Are you going to use? Well, wait a minute. I'm jumping ahead of myself. You're going to do another book, at least one more. But I kind
Right.
of got the feeling you're probably going to do more than one more. So,
Right.
will you do fiction, or will you stay with the same type of genre?
It will be fiction. I
Oh,
guess I'm thinking fiction.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. So will you use a pen name, or will you continue to use Crystal Ann Mitchell?
I'm thinking about a pen name. I'm thinking about just having a pen name.
Are you now?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. So I gotta follow you and find. Okay, we'll be talking. So that means I gotta have you back for. See, just. Okay,
No,
okay.
I don't. Sometimes I say a lot of stuff, and God be like, "That's what you think you're gonna do," So just because I said don't mean that it'll end up like it. Because I thought a lot of things was gonna go my way, and it turned to be different.
Well,
God has other stuff stored.
plans.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, plans, and we find out when it's happening. We don't know in
yes,
advance.
yes.
I know what that's like, very much so, because I fell into writing at 5, but I fell into it because it was an escape. I wanted to ask you, since you are doing this painful inspiration, I just love that. Just absolutely love that. Since you're doing this painful inspiration, and since you're going to be self-publishing the next book, which is more than likely, because you already said that you cut this book off, it's going to be a continuation of this book. Will you do a trilogy? I'm just being nosy.
No, it's gonna be the end of that. A lot of people
Okay.
like just make it, but yeah, I've read it so many times, for 3 years. And since I've been published for almost 2 years,
Okay.
and I have not really read after chapter 10.
What?
And I guess because I've read it and heard my daughter reading it, I don't know, or maybe because I know a lot of people's reading it, and this is my life story. But yeah, after the second one, it's just over with. After that, yeah,
After that, so the second one is it. You cutting us off with the
yeah,
second
it's
one,
over with.
and then you might go to fiction. Okay, we'll have
Yeah.
to talk. We have to talk. We have to talk. So a question. Since it only took you 7 months to write the book, clearly, it was something that was really in you that you really needed to get out. Do you have some advice that you would like to give to other people who are considering writing a book?
Yes, I would say to believe in yourself first. You must believe in yourself first if you want others to believe in you. Then I would have to say for my second advice would be to don't tell everybody your vision, because everybody ain't gonna see the vision that God has placed into you. And then you have those that's not gonna be happy for you. Then you have those that project their fears on you, make you start doubting yourself. And then the last one would have to absolutely be to fall in love with the process, because this is where your character is being built. So you can't worry about other people and their followers, because God's always going to place people in your path to get you to where He's trying to get you. I'm the only one in my family, and He has placed people to help me along the way. I had no idea, you know. So my book is I got it where I'm blindfolded with my hand out. I'm walking by faith and not by sight. So as to tell you, you gotta fall in love with the process. And although it don't seem like things is happening, it's really happening. Because I
Okay.
couldn't have became an author 10 years ago. I had to go through all this stuff, and yeah.
Got you. Got you. Got you. Okay. So where can we find your book?
You can find my book at my publishers, Dorrance Publishing, Amazon, up under Walmart, Barnes and Noble, Goodreads, and Google me. You can see there's other places as well too.
I did. I did.
Yeah, it's some of the libraries, and it's a lot of other bookstores and stuff that I've
Okay.
never even heard of before. So I could
Okay.
probably start remembering them. And I appreciate if they ever see it. I appreciate y'all too.
Okay. So, what would you like for your parting words to be to our viewers today?
I would like to say that no matter how hard life gets, is to always have faith in God, and to always remember that there's purpose in that pain, and to never give up.
Okay. I like that. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to come on. I really appreciate it. I have enjoyed you and I enjoyed your read. Thank you for blessing us with that.
But thank
Thank you
you.
to you are very welcome. Thank you to our guests. Please remember that South Carolina Gets Lit is not only a TV show, it is also a literacy program. We are exposing authors and we're building readers. Each time someone comes on the show, they have donated to help fight illiteracy, not just for the little kids, but all the way up. Thank you all so much, and I'll be talking with you soon. Continue reading and writing. Bye.